Listen, for the truth is among you. Open your hearts to the light.
The day began like many others, quietly unfolding beneath an open sky, unaware that it would soon be remembered for generations. Jesus had crossed to a remote place seeking rest, yet rest did not find him. The people came anyway. They always did, drawn by hope, by stories whispered along roads and marketplaces, by the deep human longing to be seen, healed, and understood. They came on foot from towns near and far. Some hurried, others limped. Some carried burdens on their backs, others carried them in their hearts. Parents held children close, friends supported the weak. Strangers walked side by side, united by the same question that echoed in every heart. Could this be the one who changes everything? When Jesus saw them, he did not turn away. He never did. He looked at the vast crowd and felt compassion rise within him. Not distant sympathy, but love that stirred action. He welcomed them, healed those who were sick, yet restored those who were broken, and spoke words that reached deeper than pain. He spoke of God not as a distant ruler, but as a present Father. He spoke of mercy that renews, of faith that grows, of a kingdom that begins within the heart. The people listened as though their lives depended on it. Some had waited years to hear words like these. Others did not fully understand, yet felt something awaken inside them. Hope moved quietly through the crowd from one soul to another, like a flame passed hand to hand. Hour followed hour. The sun stood high, then slowly leaned toward the horizon. Dust clung to feet and garments, yet no one complained. No one wanted to leave. This place, though empty of comfort, had become full of meaning. But the body, unlike the spirit, demands attention. Hunger crept in silently. A child tugged at a parent's sleeve. An elderly traveller leaned back, weak with fatigue. Whispers passed through the crowd. The disciples noticed. They counted the people, scanned the land, measured the distance to nearby villages. Reason spoke clearly to them. They approached Jesus with concern, not without care, but with human limitation. "This place is remote," they said. "The hour is late. Send the people away so they can find food for themselves." Jesus looked at the crowd again. He saw their hunger, but he also saw their trust. He answered the disciples with words that stretched their faith beyond comfort. "You give them something to eat." The disciples were shaken. They looked again at the multitude, then at their empty hands. Calculations rushed through their minds. The cost, the impossibility. Their voices carried doubt, not defiance. "We have nothing," they said. "Almost nothing." Jesus remained calm. He asked them to search. Among thousands, they found a small offering, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Simple food, ordinary food, offered freely. Jesus took the loaves and fish and told the people to sit down. The grass became a place of rest. Order replaced uncertainty. Families gathered. Strangers sat side by side. All eyes turned toward him. He lifted the food toward heaven and gave thanks. In that prayer, heaven and earth met. Gratitude rose before abundance appeared. Trust spoke before evidence followed. He broke the bread, and he kept breaking it. What should have diminished did not. What should have ended continued. The disciples carried the bread and fish among the people, and every time they returned, there was more. Their fear slowly gave way to awe. Their doubt softened into wonder. The people ate, slowly, then freely. Hunger faded. Strength returned. Laughter broke out among children. Peace settled over the hillside. Every person ate until they were satisfied. When the last had eaten, Jesus instructed the disciples to gather the leftovers. They moved through the crowd, like collecting fragments. Basket after basket filled. 12 baskets stood full. Testimony not only to provision, but to overflow. The people sat in silence, overwhelmed. Some wept quietly. Others stared at the baskets as if afraid they might vanish. Many hearts burned with questions they could not yet name. They had eaten bread, but they had tasted something greater. Jesus withdrew from them, knowing their thoughts, knowing that miracles alone cannot sustain faith. Yet the lesson remained, etched into memory. That day did not end on the hillside. It continued in the hearts of those who walked home under the evening sky, full but thoughtful. Parents told children what they had seen. Travelers carried the story to distant towns. The disciples carried it within themselves, though they would not fully understand it until much later. The miracle spoke of more than food. It revealed a pattern of heaven. Compassion first, trust required, obedience invited, provision released. It showed that God does not despise small beginnings, that what seems insignificant in human hands comes abundant in divine hands, that scarcity is never the final word where faith is present. Years would pass, trials would come, storms would rise, yet the memory of that day would return again and again, when bread seemed scarce, when hope felt thin, when the future looked uncertain. They would remember how Jesus did not send the hungry away. They would remember how he involved them in the miracle. They would remember how grace multiplied when shared. And even now, the story continues. It continues wherever people feel overwhelmed by need. It continues wherever faith feels too small. It continues wherever love chooses to stay instead of turning away. 5 loaves, 2 fish, a willing heart, a compassionate Savior, endless grace flowing from willing hands. There was enough. There is enough. There will always be enough. If this story blesses you, kindly like, share, and comment.